PT is here on a Tuesday with Thompson. Pete Thompson's in the house. Ooh, he's got his Phillies gear on today. You can see the PT live on the live video stream over at 97.3 ESPN on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Of course, it's a Tuesday with Thompson here. The PT is in the house. Peter, how are you, pal?
I'm doing well, Michael. How was your 4th? Looks like you guys had a nice time. Good holiday, good relaxing time.
Yeah, 4th was great. Nice long weekend. You know, it's my buddy's birthday is the 4th of July, so that always makes it
just give me the initials, because I think I know the buddy, but just the initials are...
Yeah, BP.
That's who I thought it was, yeah. Okay,
yep.
Nice.
Birthday is 4th of July, so he has a nice little shindig over at his...
What do I got to do to get invited to this thing? I mean, you know, I know him too. What the heck? I mean, jeez. Every year you tell me how great this party is, and every year I just keep looking at the mailbox or looking at my phone.
Well, there's no invite. You know, you got to just show up.
Oh, all right. Well, I can do that.
Yeah, you just wheel yourself right on in. You know, PT comes walking in with the old. No one's going to say, "Hey, who invited you?"
All right. Well, then next year I'm in. Count me in.
Well, you say that every year. You never show up.
That's not true. I don't think I've ever been invited.
It's not like some, you know.
I mean, I'd like to go.
All right. Well, you're in for next.
All right. Thank you.
So that was on Sunday, which was on. You know, now I told Josh he's anti-American. He did not watch the hot dog eating competition.
I did not watch it either, but you know I love hot dogs. And what did I find out? Something they did some sort of calorie breakdown of like how many hot dogs he ate versus how many calories he pounded in. And
yeah,
look, it's just nice, dude, that we're getting back to like normal.
People did it this year
without masks.
They did it this year at a baseball stadium, the Coney Island place.
Right, where the Coney Island Express play? Sure. I mean, instead of the normal downtown, you know, at the Nathan's location there, because I guess they didn't want to cram too many. Look, you know, if you're trying to plan an event, or at least if you were trying to plan an event, which you have to do at least a year out, right? Month to month, things kept changing. I mean, that was kind of like how it was at school when we had prom and graduation. You know, there were some schools that had their prom outside on the football field. We were fortunate enough to have our prom at a venue inside, you know, just like normal, and maskless too, which I think the students were happy about. Or same thing with graduation. You know, last year the graduations had to be segmented. This year graduation was, everybody was there. And you know where we were? ACIT's graduation was at the Sand Castle.
Oh, nice.
And no concrete fell on us or anything like that.
Well, that's like, yeah, so it was at the ballpark. Now, I said it's like akin to, it's just like, you know, on Christmas Day, a Christmas Story's on, so you just watch it because it's on. The hot dog eating competition has become, hey, it's on, I'm just going to like, but did you see ESPN? It was getting a lot of heat because I couldn't, like, to talk about how many people were watching this, it kept freezing. So they had to keep going to commercial.
I did see this. I saw it after the fact, but I saw that they had issues right at the critical moment.
With 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, it started freezing. They went to commercial.
Probably went out, is what it is.
They went to commercial and then came back. It was like 50 seconds left when they came back, and then it froze again, and then they came back. And then, I mean, he was so far ahead that the drama, but he was going to break a record, which he ended up doing. He ate 76 hot dogs, Peter.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, I think I could eat, well, the old me could eat 7. Now I could eat like 1 or 2, and I got to get rid of most of the bun. It just, not to go too technical, but they probably were using something called Live View, which is how you go live now or how you do a lot of things. And in the old days, that would have all been hardwired. They would have ran cord and ran cable to every camera and everything so that it wouldn't drop out like that. What you're essentially dealing with is sort of like a cell phone on steroids, you know, and just like sometimes you get in a bad area with your phone, or sometimes you're FaceTiming somebody and it drops out. That's essentially what they had, but at an awful moment for it.
It was awful. And like you're watching this, and the guy, like he was on pace at one point. He was on a 90 hot dog pace.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Right? So you're watching this guy and you're like, oh my God. Like, seriously, we're all sitting around watching this. Like, it was like, hey, we're all invested. We're watching this guy, and then it just freezes. So we're watching actually on cable. Okay. Now, I have YouTube TV, so I went and said, let me see if it's the cable or if it's ESPN. It turns out it was ESPN.
That's always a frustrating thing too. Like, I mean, occasionally when NBC Sports Philadelphia goes down and you think like, oh, okay, the Phillies game is frozen. Is this me or is this the cable? And so you'll try to go to some other outlet and you realize there's nothing you can do. It's not you. It's not your TV. Sometimes it is, but in that case, no, ESPN screwed up.
Oh, it was definitely.
ESPN's had a tough week and a half or so, haven't they?
Yes, it has been a tough couple of hours for them, as a matter of fact. But the hot dog eating contest, I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I mean, hey, I say like it's on. I'm watching. It's one of those things.
I've watched it before. Now, what time was it?
I think the pregame, like it's an hour thing, but I mean it's fluff for 45 minutes.
Yeah, but the actual contest itself.
I think it starts around 12:45.
Okay, so I had done the show with Billy, and I hadn't quite probably gotten home yet to fire something up. Although I probably could have, been home in time.
Oh yeah, I mean the first 45 minutes is them just going through all the stories and yada yada. But like the contest is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
like the Kentucky Derby, all the pregame, all the hype, and then it's the fastest 2 minutes of racing.
Well, it's funny. My guy Jason Fitz was the sideline reporter. I said, "How do you get that gig to be?"
Oh, that's awesome.
The hot dog eating
since to talk about it.
No, it was on Sunday.
Well, when's he come on next?
Well, I didn't work yesterday.
All right. Well, then when's he come on next? I'm trying to
tomorrow.
Segue and plug. Okay, what time?
Well, your question was a Billy Schweim-esque question. Okay.
Oh, how dare you, sir? I'm disconnecting right now.
No, you were a part of that text chain.
Oh my God. Well, Pete, but why do they have the fireworks?
Well, I'm listening to you guys, right? And he's talking about the fireworks. I said,
listen,
realize
more often than not, as I'm producing the show too, I'm trying to check buttons, make sure there's settings here. Am I here? Are we on the air? And then I'll ask some question that's just so ridiculous that I'm thinking dude, you don't really want an answer to that, do you?
Well, so he's going on about why didn't they have fireworks? And I'm like, you do realize they had 2 day games, right? Well, I thought you may have fact-checked him on that, but you didn't. So I said, hey, guys, just to let you know, the game was scheduled at 4, which is not conducive to fireworks, nor is the 1 o'clock start they had on Sunday.
That's correct.
To which, hey, it was 4:05. They could have had them after. I said, well, even if it's a 4-hour game, you're still not getting darkness, right?
You're not going to have people wait around for fireworks. Normally fireworks have always been as soon as the game gets done, they hustle off that field as fast as possible. They used to let people down on the field. I don't know if they still do that or not. And then they shoot them off pretty much as quickly as they can.
Right. Now
it has to be total darkness.
You wrote, I will explain. I never actually heard. I wasn't listening to see if you gave the explanation because Billy said yesterday's game was 4:05. There were no fireworks planned. Why not? And I said, I think I covered this. The day game is not conducive to fireworks.
You don't
then
understand,
he wrote, they were home. Why weren't fireworks scheduled? Again, I said I answered this question.
Right.
It was a day game.
Well, and you got to understand, when you're texting him during the show like that, that's just like the person that has the shiny little thing, like the laser pointer, and is messing with the cat, or the little pom-pom on the ball, just bouncing it up and down. I mean, Billy cannot, you are catnip and also arsenic to Billy. He cannot resist answering you and digging in. And you're talking about a guy, Gill, that when he read stats during the first round of the NBA playoffs, read these stats and they were totally wrong. And then he's like, why are these stats wrong? And he's reading the damn Wizards stats. He literally couldn't look at the logo of Wizards and Sixers and understand.
Yeah, I heard you break his stones for that a few times. I thought that was pretty funny.
I can't not. Now, I'll probably get grief for this too. Pete, I heard you guys. Come on.
Oh, I've never met him or, yeah. He likes to give them, but he surely doesn't like to get it on the other side.
Well,
yeah.
So, 8 o'clock.
I heard it mentioned to you about the fact that we didn't like his movie selections.
Yeah, because I've never heard of North Shore before. I mean, I think he.
Oh, I've heard of it, but it's not something that's readily on television. That's the problem.
I don't think that he went I think he blurted out the first 5 movies that he could think of,
rather
than give it full depth.
Well, it's fine, but look. By the way, so 5 movies you've seen 10 times. You know what was on Friday night?
What is that?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yes.
And it's funny because All right, so I've seen Shawshank so many times, but you know what's
Bajillion
weird?
times, yeah.
You never get it at the beginning because you're always flipping through. Like, oh, it's on.
Uh-huh.
You know
That's
how
true.
infrequently I've seen the first 5 minutes of that movie?
Right, which is where the golf pro sneaks in and,
Right.
basically kills the wife
Right,
and
but
all that.
you
Yeah,
always check in somewhere in the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But
that's
I said
right.
to my girlfriend, I said, I can't remember what the beginning of this movie's even like. So we actually went back because on TNT, I think it was on TNT or TBS, you can hit play and it'll play the actual.
You can hit restart from beginning or something like that. Sure.
Right. So I went back and actually because we were in the first 15 minutes when I got in.
Okay, so why not? Yeah, I'm all for that. If we're doing some entertainment stuff, I'll tell you that I finally watched Mayor of Easttown, with the Delco accent and Kate Winslet, and it was really, really good. It was really good.
Okay.
So much so that
Is it a
Susan
movie?
only saw. No, it's a 7-episode miniseries. Kate Winslet plays a detective who's trying to solve a murder case, and she has some of her own personal trauma. She's divorced, but her ex-husband lives in the house right behind her, and he's about to get remarried again. She has 2 children, but one of her sons, the son killed himself because he had some mental issues. So she's got all this on her plate, and a girl had disappeared a year before, and she couldn't solve that case, and now she's got a murder case on top of it. It's set in Delaware County, and so there's cheesesteaks and Yinglings and Rolling Rock and all the accents. They definitely, I mean, for Kate Winslet, who's British, to say Wooder or the way they do the O's is pretty funny too. But it was really riveting, and it was a good program, and I'd encourage you to check it
out. It's a Tuesday with Thompson. The PT's here, Sports Bash. Now, I want to ask you about some actual stuff here. The Phillies won 2 out of 3 against the Padres over the weekend. Their bullpen actually didn't blow those games. They actually were a part of the reason why they won the game, and then they won last night big. I say, look, this Cubs team's lost 10 games in a row, PT, and the Phillies have the better pitcher going the rest of the series.
Yep,
I'm looking for a sweep here, man.
Yeah, no, this is the time for them to make hay. And it's funny when you're sitting there trying to figure out what's going to motivate the Phillies to finally get off their butts and start playing better. Apparently, it's the trade deadline. And apparently, it's the fact that they know that Dave Dombrowski in the front office is not going to make any moves if they're not warranted. So, they were 16-26 in road games. They go into Wrigley last night. That was completely unexpected for me. With Matt Moore as the starter and coming off an 11-1 loss to the Padres at home on that Sunday game, which left a disappointing taste in my mouth. I didn't have a lot of optimism for last night's game, and all they did was blow out the Cubs last night. I mean, and blow them out big. They were losing, sure, 2-0, but all the moves that Girardi has been ripped so much for moves that he makes that fail, but everything he did last night worked. He actually put Andrew Knapp in the lineup instead of JT Realmuto, and Knapp had a home run that sort of jolted the bench awake. McCutchen, who they weren't even sure was healthy enough to play, went 3 for 5 with 2 doubles. I mean, his OPS is up 787 now. That's more than 100 points since June 1st. So maybe Kutch is heating up. Remember how bad he was at the start of the season in those first 2 months? And now here's a guy that he's got, since June 1st, 26 hits in his last 87 at-bats. I mean, that's great numbers out of Kutch.
Well, and they're sitting Herrera, and then today, just a couple moments ago, Girardi said that they might rest him a couple days. They feel like he's kind of hitting the wall a little bit. So you might see Jankowski play some more center field, or Luke Williams, one of those guys, the next couple of days, because Jankowski's playing center, batting 8th today.
Yep, saw Jankowski in the lineup and made note of that. That was my first thing, and because of that, then Segura moves up to the top. But the first thing I looked for was Realmuto in the lineup, and he's there batting second. You're going to leave Kutch in. It's interesting that they have Kutch batting cleanup, but that's because they've had Kutch actually lead off at one point, and he wants to be able to bring runs in, not be the on-pace guy, And look, anytime you have Alec Boehm down in the lower half or the lower third of the lineup, that's where he should be, quite frankly, until he can figure out everything he's doing. It was interesting last night. That was Boehm's, first home run in like a month or 2 months or something like that. I mean, I don't even care that it came off a position player. Things like that are the kind of thing that can maybe jumpstart some hitting.
Yeah, it was a 67-mile-per-hour slider that he launched out of the ballpark. Now, look, I like Bohm. He hasn't been very good, and I think defensively has carried over a lot. He has been awful defensively, and I think that's been on his mind a lot because he's a guy last year. I mean, the guy hit like 340 last year,
Yeah, he was really good last year. I mean, and he certainly, look, he's always been a defensive liability. And I mean, this team, if you look at the Phillies as a whole, the idea was that they're going to out-hit. The lineup was going to be so good that whatever their defensive shortcomings would be, that they'd outscore people. And really, if you look at all the places that have failed the Phillies, it's their offense that's failed them the most. I mean,
the bullpen, though, Pete, has been...
Oh, it's been brutal. Sure, but I mean, the bullpen actually is starting, and we had Scott Air on the show.
I heard that, and I referenced that conversation to start the show today. I thought he brought up a great point about why this bullpen is what it is, and it's the fact that they can't throw strikes.
Yeah, it's like the number one thing of being a relief pitcher is to come in and throw strikes, and obviously, Neris has been to the moon and back, and all over the place. You have Alvarado, who they want to maybe have him come be a closer, but yet, he's got electric stuff. You just have no idea where it's going.
Can't close him. Eric brought it up. You can't count on him to throw strikes. You just simply cannot put him in a situation where there is no other alternative. He can't close games when he can't throw strikes.
So now maybe Ranger Suarez is going to be the guy. In fact, they would have gone to Suarez last night, but then the offense exploded a little bit, and it went away from being a safe situation, so they didn't have to go with him. And hey, that was a good thing, to have a little laugher last night, to be having a position player out there. It's about time that the Phillies were the ones doing that instead of on the receiving end of that.
Well, and I think Girardi mentioned it after the game last night, is that we've had to have the bullpen come in every night in a one-run game. Like, they never get – now, that's not entirely true, but he's talking about how a lot of these games have been one-run games recently. They have blown leads of 2, 3, 4, 5, but a lot of their games have been close. It was finally they got a night where they could relax a little bit. They don't get too many of those.
No, definitely don't get too many of those. And boy, it was really I haven't watched a lot of the Cubs, but I remember – like a month ago, even, it seems, weren't the Cubs in first place? They are skyrocketing.
Oh, well, they've lost 10 straight.
Yeah, and I had no idea that Jake Arrieta was now considered to be the worst pitcher in baseball. I mean, the guy's actually pitching for his job tonight.
Oh, well, he's been bad recently, yes. He got off to a decent start this year, and he has been pretty bad. But even losing 10 straight games, they're only, put it this way, they've lost 10 in a row and still have a better record than the Phillies.
Well, I definitely saw that this morning, too, as I was looking through different stories and thinking about sports and baseball, that if the Phillies were in any other division, and that means American League or National League, they could be in any other division, and they'd be sellers right now because they'd be out of it, because they'd be toast, cooked, done, Dunzaroo, over, and, kaput.
Well, that's interesting. Let me take a look at it. So they would be in last place in the American League East. They would be in third place in the Central. They would be in last place in the West. They would be in last place in the Central, and they would be in fourth place in the West. So, yeah, I mean, now they're in fourth place in the East, too, by the way.
Right, but they're only 4.5 out. Fourth place in the West is 16.5 out. Fourth place in the Central is 9 out. Fourth place in the AL West is 9.5 out.
Oh, we talked about this before you came on. Before you came on, Pete, we mentioned they're 7.5 out of the wild card. They ain't making the wild card. I mean, if they're going to make the playoffs, it's because they're going to catch the Mets. They're 7.5 back of the wild card. That wild card in the National League, it's decided already.
Yeah, which is a little bizarre, isn't it? It wasn't the whole point about the wild card that it's supposed to go, it's supposed to provide a thrilling finish and give a chance down to the end. And yeah, they're completely buried in the wild card race. Obviously, Dodgers, Padres, Reds kind of sniffing in the top 3 up there. But that's craziness to think about, that we're not even to the All-Star game, and the wild card is almost a foregone conclusion.
I would say on the National League side, it is going to be 2 of the teams out west are going to make the wild card. That's not crazy to say. Now, in the American League, You got Tampa and Oakland are currently, and then Seattle's 3.5, Toronto's 4, Cleveland's 5, the Yankees are 5.5. The Angels are 6. They're interesting because they're going to get Trout back here soon. So we'll see if they can get back into it. But the American League at least has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that are still in the mix. Where the National League, you only have one team that's really within 6 games of the 2 wild card spots.
Yeah, that's the Cincinnati Reds. And by the way, what's got into the Reds? They've won 5 in a row.
Oh, they were supposed to be really good. I mean, I think they've been a disappointment, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, who did they win all these games against? Oh, Padres. Oh, there you go. The Cubs. They're the health spot. They won the last game of their series with the Padres because the Phillies just saw them in that one-off. Remember when they played the Phillies?
That was the makeup
on that Monday, and that was, of course, they beat the heck out of the Phillies 12-4. But then they lost 2 or 3 to the Padres. So the fact that the Reds then swept the Cubs and won their first game against the Royals, that's what's got them on a little hot streak. And by hot streak, I mean 4 games above 500. That's the thing.
PT's interest in the NBA Finals is?
I'm curious. I don't like the late start times, although I'm starting to morph to my summer schedule, which is stay up a little bit later and get up a little bit later. So I have not been getting up at 5 a.m. I haven't even been getting up at 7 a.m. I think it's, to me, and I still actually am signed up for those SIG stats, and so when I was writing my column for Shore Local yesterday, I noticed the fact that none of the players had ever, there's a big shortage of NBA championship experience. No player on either team has ever won a championship. It's the first time that 0 players since 1977 when the Trailblazers played the Sixers. So, that to me, I like the Phoenix story, the fact that they're in it for the first time, although I'm not paying $89,000 for a courtside seat. Are you high? I like, the Bucks and will Giannis play or will he won't play, or is he not going to play, or how much is he going to miss?
All right.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm definitely intrigued by it.
So I heard you talk about this with Billy the other day. The tickets, there's a ticket for $89,000. What's that, a courtside seat in Phoenix?
Yeah, courtside seat in Phoenix was listed on StubHub or one of those places for $89,000.
Jeez.
I mean,
you don't even see that to an LA game.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before or since, but I mean that's unbelievable that I
mean, Phoenix is a pretty. They haven't been in the finals since '93.
Right. Yeah, they haven't been in the finals since '93, and look, they call it Paradise Valley. Phoenix and the Tempe and all the different towns that are listed around Phoenix, but Paradise Valley is the Longport, right? That's the high rent district of Arizona there of Phoenix. So if somebody is going to put up that money, or who knows, I just saw the kid I went to high school with held the white party of the summer in the Hamptons over the weekend. So you got to be kidding me. And everybody came out, my boy, Mike Rubin, right?
Right. Exactly. Didn't you talk to him one time? He was like Joe Flacco to Billy Schweim. He had
he did not.
No time for you.
We took a picture together. He was very nice to me. He was very happy.
Now, what happened with the whole, you were saying you were going to tell the story about you going to Flacco the other day.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty easy story. I'm out at the Ron Jaworski Celebrity Golf Classic, and I'm getting all the different interviews. And, I get some of the easy guys, right? Mickey Morandini was there. And, of course, you get Jaws, and I see Mike Quick. I had a very nice lunch with Merrill Reese. I didn't interview Merrill Reese, but, hello, Penner, how are you? And we sat down and had a nice little lunch together, so that was cool. But I got a bunch of interviews, and then at the very end, I was kind of hanging on, and I saw Joe Flacco. And he's actually seen me before. So I started off by showing him a picture of him and I at Jaws's event at Atlantic City Country Club. That's how long ago it's been. And so I showed him the picture, and he says, "Oh, wow, that's a long time ago." I said, "Yeah, it was right after your Super Bowl with the Ravens." And I said, "Well, listen, would you mind if I do a little interview with you?" He said, "Yeah, sure." So we go through, we do the interview, we get done. And I said to him, hey, this is going to air on Sunday I work with a guy named Billy Schweim. And he kind of tilts his head. And he goes, is that the guy that keeps trying to get me to come on? And I said, yeah. I said, he barks a lot, but he's harmless. And he goes, well, now I came on. I said, yeah, no problem. I said,
did the Schweimer count that as he's been on with? Now he has been on with Billy in the past.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't even think it's as much that he wasn't coming on. It's that he would say that, look, I'm shy, I don't want to come on. And then he'd see him on like Channel 6 Action News, or he'd see him on some other broadcast network. That was really lighting Billy's views. Like, don't tell me you don't want to do interviews, but then you're on somewhere else. But it was a fun time out there. I was happy to see, I mean, Gil, do you know how long I've known Ron Jaworski? I mean, I was probably 10 when I met him the first time at Green Valley Country Club, and he was wearing these plaid pants. I mean, he and I go way, way back. So it was really nice to see him. Good they had a successful event out there. Great to see everybody. I enjoyed it very much.
All right, a Tuesday with Thompson. The PT's here. You got anything else you'd like to talk about, Peter?
Not really. I mean, I'll be looking tonight, see if I like the Suns. I picked the Suns in 6. That was my prediction, and I actually saw somebody else that's much smarter than me pick the Suns in 6. So yeah, I feel comfortable with that pick. I am like you. I have no interest in Wimbledon, so get the tennis off of there as soon as possible. I saw something today that
I respect the game. Like, I think it's a very challenging game. I just don't have if you told me I'm getting the finals, okay, but you're giving me every match leading up to the finals, I think it's excessive.
Yeah, and I did see something today about that. They're doing away with Manic Monday. So maybe that was the other thing, too, that Wimbledon is changing the format. What you saw yesterday, you couldn't get away from because they play every match in one day, and they had to close the roof at one point. But there's change. There used to be what they called a middle Sunday. They used to take a Sunday off, like a day off where they didn't have anything. And now that they're going to eliminate that middle Sunday and keep rolling right through so that they don't have any more what they call Manic Monday. That's what I read about, at least. So,
well, it's just like right now during the day while we're here, you've got Wimbledon on all day on one channel, and then they transition to the Euro, which I'm just not a big soccer guy, right. So I'm not sitting here interested in watching either one of them. So we don't have a lot of options on the green channels as they're.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, you have that old cable that has the green color on the Comcast. I turned on the Irish Open on Sunday on the 4th of July. I was watching a little golf from across the pond, and I just put it on there. And sometimes I'll put on SportsCenter just in case there's some breaking news or something like that comes
What's
in.
More impressive to you, guys hitting home runs in the home run derby, or Joey Chestnut slamming down 76 hot dogs?
It is so hard. I love hot dogs, but I anytime you can hit that many home runs, you're hitting a round ball with a straight bat. Like I'm impressed that anybody can hit it over the fence. So I'm going to go with the home runs.
I'm disappointed in you, Peter.
I know you wanted me to go for the hot dogs.
Well,
I'm a new guy. I can't even have 7.4 hot dogs.
Right.
No less.
Well, I said nobody else is eating 76 hot dogs. There's multiple guys who can hit the ball over the fence.
That I guess. I mean, I can't.
I said, mind you, well, you can't. That's not saying much.
Dude, one of my highlights was when we went and found a bag of baseballs in the garage, or a bucket of baseballs, like 40 of them. And we were all in high school, and we went down and we went to basically the pony field, like where the kids, like the 9 and 10-year-olds played, right? So we went on a field that had lesser dimensions, and there was just like 3 of us or 4 of us. So pitcher, hitter, and a couple guys to stand in the outfield and retrieve the balls. And we had 3 or 4 old wooden bats, and we had our own home run derby. I'm 50, and I still remember doing this at 16 and having just a
people don't realize, like, the home run derby, you've got a guy like in his mid-50s throwing 60 miles an hour.
That's true.
To a guy who's used to hitting a 95 mile per hour. So the feat isn't all that impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, but the stamina it takes to stand up there. I mean, because look, you've seen even some of the greatest home run hitters. They approach it wrong and they flame out.
Are you watching? By the way, are you watching the match?
Oh, I'm totally watching that tonight. I'm glad you brought that up.
It's already on.
So. Well, I know, but I had a little commitment. I had to be on the radio first, and this is pregame. I think 5 to 5:30 is pregame. 5:30, it's actually starting,
which is right now.
Okay, well then I got to go.
All right.
Talk to you on Friday.
No fireworks tonight, Peter.
For you?
Anybody. It's a road game.
Oh, well, the Phillies will have their
Billy
fireworks.
said poor planning. I said, well, I don't think they picked to play at 4 o'clock. It was given to them as the time.
Yeah, they have this Players Association and the union and a bunch of other things. I mean, come on.
Now, the day that they are having fireworks is the 16th. They actually have a double header that day. You should ask Billy, do You think they're going to do the fireworks after the first game at 4?
Oh, you know he's listening. You know he heard you say that right now. I'll be getting a text in a couple minutes here.
I don't understand. Why do they do that?
Mike.
Nate Geary, by the way, got released by the 49ers.
Oh well.
That's your boy. He's Nebraska.
Yeah, but, there hasn't been a good Nebraska player on the Eagles since what, Correll Buckholder?
Probably. What happened to Stuart Bradley?
The kicker was terrible. Stuart Bradley tore his ACL, was never the same again, ruined his knee or whatever. So he was nothing, right? I mean, boy, I'll tell you, what's the tougher fate if you're a Temple football player with the Eagles or a Nebraska football player? Both my schools I support. Once they get to the Eagles, it's like toxic.
Oof.
Ooh.
All right, Peter.
All right, man. Talk to you, buddy. See you Friday.
Happy Hour Friday. The PT will be back. Oh, by the way, Peter, you still there?
Yeah.
Before we go, I want you to, you're going to be in Wildwood this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll talk about that a little bit more on Friday. But the New Jersey State Barbecue Championship's back, and I couldn't be more excited. I've been going down to this now for, 3, 4, 5 times, I guess it's been, and it's awesome. I mean, if you haven't been, and it's sanctioned by the Kansas City Barbecue Society, so, I mean, it's first of all, the smell is like, you're like Homer Simpson, your mouth waters, and they got craft beers and live bands and vendors and all kinds of stuff. And it's all there in North Wildwood, and it benefits the Anglesey Blues Festival and the Anglesey Volunteer Fire Company, who I can't say enough about those guys. Remember the one year we had some connection issues, and they set us up inside the firehouse, and I got to see how the firemen live, and that was real respectable like. So I can't wait to get down there. I'm there from 12 until 2 on Sunday for that.
Saturday.
I'm there from 12 until 2. I believe it's on Sunday, sir. You said Saturday. I think it's Sunday. No, it is Saturday. You're absolutely right. I couldn't be there from 12 till 2. I would have to beam me up, Scotty, to get in 2 places at once. You're right. Saturday. Like I said, I'm there from 12 till 2 on Saturday. Thank God you know the details.
That's right. All right. So for more, go to njbbq.com to get all the details about this year's New Jersey Barbecue Championships. Pete Thompson will be there from noon to 2. You can shake hands and kiss babies with the PT. He'll be calling in to Sports Bash Saturday with Josh throughout the day, giving updates down there. So we'll talk more about that on Friday's Happy Hour Friday. Nothing better than Happy Hour Friday with barbecue.
That's right, man. Barbecue and happy hour go hand in hand, buddy. Can't wait.
All right, Peter.
All right, Michael. Thank you.
See ya.